Mortgage rates, we talked about in the last segment, have declined about 1.5 points over the last 12 months. But is that enough to cause home buyers to jump into the market, ready to buy, ready to sell? Or is it possible that there could still be some people in Metro Atlanta and around North America who are waiting for rates to get down to that 3% rate before they jump in? We received a question from Jesse in Lawrenceville. Question is, even though interest rates have dropped since this time last year, if we sell and use some of the equity to buy the rate down even lower, how does that work? Is there a tax benefit to doing this? And the answer is yes, it's possible to get a lower rate. And we're at a time in the market where any amount you spend to lower your rate is sort of magnified from where it was earlier. Because as rates are rising, lenders are afraid they're going to get stuck with loans where the rate's too low and they could have a much higher rate. When they believe we're in a market where rates are falling, then it tends to be cheaper to buy the rate down. And so I do not believe that 3% rates will come back. Now, if there is a national disaster of some point, if there are additional wars around the globe, if there's additional uncertainty, then it is possible that they would do what they need to manipulate mortgage rates. And you're thinking, well, how does the federal government manipulate mortgage rates? Well, the federal government, the Federal Reserve, starts buying 10-year Treasury bonds to decrease the yield. That's how the rate got so low during the pandemic, is the Federal Reserve was doing quantitative easing, meaning they were buying bonds, forcing the rate down, then the mortgage rates came in line after that. So it is possible. But for those of you who are looking to buy a home and you're just like, I would love to figure out how I can get this rate down, just ask your lender. Say if your rate you're being quoted is 6.25 and you'd like to know how much it would cost to get a 5.5% rate, just ask your lender, how much would it cost for me to buy down my rate? Now, how do you make the decision as to whether or not the investment to buy down the rate makes sense? I say it is whether or not you can save all of your money that you spent to buy down the rate over somewhere between 24 and 36 months. So when I purchased my townhome, and this was in July of 2023, when interest rates were 7.5%, I was able to buy my rate down 4 to 6%. And in doing that, my fees for that were like $5,000. And I computed what is the difference in my payment every month. And let's just say it was $300. And I'm just making that number up. I don't remember if it's right or wrong. But if I spent $5,000 to buy down the rate and I could save $300 per month, that means I'm saving $3,600 per year. Well, you can see that in less than 24 months, I would actually get the benefit of all of the additional money I spent at closing in the first place. So each year I would be saving $3,600, although it would be a little bit less the first year. I mean, it'd be more the first year, less the second year, less the third year, because I'm paying down the principal balance of my loan. But it is very possible that you could buy down your rate. And here's something interesting. When I say you can buy down your rate, you can, as a buyer, get credit from the seller to buy down your rate. So if you knew that you could decrease your interest rate by 0.5% for a fee of $4,000, then you could ask the seller to contribute additional $4,000 toward your closing costs and use the seller contribution to buy down the rate. Now, whatever you buy it to, I don't believe that that will be the rate that you will keep over the term of that mortgage. So you buy it down to 5.5. Are you going to keep a 5.5% rate the entire life of your loan? I'd say the odds are no, because prices or interest rates will go lower, in my opinion. And, we'll have market cycles up and down for the next 100, 200, 300, 1,000 years. It's just going to keep happening. But my guess is if you buy it today, you buy the rate down just a little bit, then over the next 2 or 3 years, you'll also have an opportunity to refinance it and buy the rate down a little bit more. And when you do that, you make your decision as to whether or not it makes sense to refinance by whether or not you can save all the money in payments that it cost you to do the refinance between 24 and 36 months. Now, for those of you who are thinking, I'm only going to be in the house for 3 years, probably doesn't even make sense to refinance because you'd never get it back. But I believe there are lots of ways to get a lower interest rate for sure.